Good morning. Alright, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get through the whole video without having to run off and figure out if there's water spilling in my house. Both cats are in the room. There's Lumpy over there, and there's Blue over here. If there's crashing noises, tell my mother I love her. So, today, I want to talk a little bit about the consequences of your life decisions. And I know this sounds really ominous, but I feel like it applies to a lot of different things. Not just like the things that we think are ominous, but like just the normal everyday stuff in our lives. And I'm trying to correct this camera real quick because that bothers me when it's really red. Anyway, so this came up yesterday because, alright, I've had a lot of car adventures. Like, these last 2 weeks have been insane. So I remember mentioning that the tree fell, hit my car, $4,000 worth of damage. We needed to save up the deductible to take it into the shop. So we did take it into the shop, had a rental, got a call like Wednesday-ish saying that the car was ready after I'd already called them to see if it was ready, and they said no, they didn't know when it would be ready because they were waiting on a part. Then I got a call later the same day that said, hey, car's ready. And I was like, okay, well, I can't go now. I had stuff. Like, I plan my days based on what I think it's going to be like. And I had already gotten an estimate the week before saying that it was going to be ready midweek, which is like Wednesday. So, car's ready. Fine. I told my husband, hey, we'll probably go pick it up together so we can look at it, I can look at it, we'll get it. Thursday morning, we get a call saying the car is not ready. Because something about somebody walked it so they couldn't send it off like that. That was still something that needed to be taken care of. So, they take care of that. However, by this point, I have things I need to do. I have plans. I have all of this stuff. I can't go pick it up until Monday. Like, that's the first free day that I'm going to have that I can go, walk the car, do the stuff, pick it up. Well, over the weekend, when my friends and I were here, we were going around and all this stuff, we end up deciding that I'm taking them back on Monday, which is why I couldn't do my live. So a couple of my friends left because they had work on Monday, and then I took my sister and her friend, one of my other friends, both of our friends, back home. So I drive them, but I can't take the rental because I needed to go pick up the other one, and it was supposed to be my free day. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'll just get up super early. I'll go when they open, and I'll pick it up. So I do that. I get up super early with my husband, and I go first thing, like 7:30, they open up. I was there, and I went in, did all the paperwork stuff, paid the deductible, went, walked the car. There are scratches on the back lights. There's 3 of them at least, and then my husband looks at it and said, you can look in the bumper where there were scratches, and it looks like they didn't buff out to smooth it out before they painted. They just painted over it, and so there's pits and little craters in the paint. And the top looks a little warped. It's a bad job, honestly, by this point. I'm just like frustrated. And I'm like, he's like, well, and at the shop at this point, I'd only seen the scratches in the lights. And I was like, here's the thing. When you have insurance paying for repairs like that, they will look at it and say, I think it's going to cost this much, which is the $4,000 that they told us it was probably going to cost. So they give you that, and they give it to the shop and say, these are all the things that can be fixed. This is more or less what it should cost based on like hours, parts, all that stuff. But if they do it, so like I've had a car before that they had to open up a door to fix it, and it turned out that the mechanics inside that you can't see to quote were also messed up. So that they just let the insurance know, and they increase the price of what they thought it was going to be because, you know, now they have to fix the inside. But after your deductible, everything is covered by them. So it's not, I don't have to pay for the extra stuff. They do. Insurance. So when we're looking at these scratches, they're like, hey, this needs to be buffed out. And I said, well, why wasn't that done? They're like, oh, it might be too deep, which means that they would have had to replace it. Anyway, long story short of that part, they didn't do it, and I have to take it in again. Frustrating, I know, because I'm still frustrated. So I was like, you know what? I don't have time because I have to drive down and back today. And I would like to be back before my husband gets off work, which right now doesn't look possible. So I'm like, just give me the car, I'll come back. They write it down on paper, I have to take it back. Drive home, pick them up, drive down. As we're driving down, I realize that my AC is not working. Now, I feel like it's just a coincidence that it wasn't working at the same time, because they shouldn't have been working at the front of the car where the AC is. So I don't know what caused this problem. However, it is still under warranty. Yes, this is a new car that I've had to take in lots of times. So that's an entirely different story. We'll have to get into all the details. Anyway, AC's not working. I had to drop it off again yesterday to the dealership to get it taken care of. Approved everything. Hopefully it'll be done today or tomorrow. We'll see. So, that being said, since it's not ready yet, I got another rental. So the last time we had the tank, which we're looking, one of the things that me and my husband do when we've gotten these rentals is figuring out what our life is going to look like. So, just got married. I've mentioned before many, many times that we would like to have kids someday. So that being said, we kind of have a number in mind. Right now we're at 5. We'll see what happens. Everybody keeps telling me you're going to push out the first one and not one anymore, but we'll see. But that number means that eventually we'll have to get a car the size of the tank, because it seats 7 adults, which is 2 parents, 5 kids. And me and my husband aren't short people. So the size of that one, everyone would sit comfortably, and we could drive to, let's say, the valley to see my family, and nobody's going to complain or kick. But, they will, but they won't. I'm squirming today, I'm sorry. So we were kind of thinking about, alright, so we can keep my car, because it's a 5-seater, for about 2 or 3 kids, because you can fit 2 car seats in there, and maybe a booster seat in the middle, depending on size. But right around there, we would definitely need to be considering getting another car that's bigger to fit everyone. Especially, the whole friends thing. Like, when me and my sisters would go out with my parents, if we had a friend over, we'd have to take 2 cars because we didn't fit, because there's 5 of us. And so a 6th person doesn't fit in a 5-seater, obviously. But, point remains, we start to think about the future, which gets me to my topic today. These are things that are consequences of the decisions that we've made. And let me elaborate further. The new rental that I got is a Camaro. If you don't know me, I have been dreaming about sports cars forever. Like, when I was little and played cars with my cousins, I wanted the Mustang GT. That was my car that I played with because I loved it. And every time I see these cars, I drool a little bit. Granted, that was a little bit for a while. I didn't like the body that they were doing, but they've changed it and I kind of like it a little better. Point still remains. I like sports cars. Those were the cars that I wanted. And a few years ago, when I bought my Buick, I wanted that sports car so bad. I wanted to test drive all of them, see which ones I like, see what prices I could afford, and get that car. Oh, I wanted it so bad. But standing in these dealerships looking at cars, I knew that while I could afford one, I couldn't get one, because where I was at in life, I was still living at home. I was getting that first job out of college, trying to figure out and start my career, meant that at some point I was going to move out. That was part of my plan, that I was going to move out, and I could see that happening within the next 5 years. And lo and behold, about a year after that, I moved to San Antonio. For a few months. Point remains, I moved. And that car that I did get, which was more of a SUV crossover kind of thing, fits a lot of stuff. And between that and my dad's truck, we managed to get all of my stuff up here. That was why I got that car. Because it was going to be the responsible decision. Based on what I wanted in life, I needed that car that I could move with. I could pack it up, take my stuff from one place to another, and move wherever life was going to take me, because I could see the next 5 years being fairly turbulent. What I didn't foresee was that about a few months, 6 months maybe, after moving to San Antonio is when I met my husband. I didn't see that coming. And then that changed a lot of other things. So my original plan was, once I moved wherever I kind of wanted to stay, I got the career that I wanted, and I paid off my car, I was going to get that sports car. I was going to get a Mustang. I was going to get a Camaro. I was going to get something. And I was going to test drive all of them. I was going to have a lot of fun, and I was going to enjoy it. And that was my goal. And then I met my husband. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just saying that my choices changed. Once I met my husband and we were talking, I could see us getting married. And we did. And now we see and plan when we want to start having kids. And the thing is, I still have about 2 years, more or less, to pay off on my car. And we definitely see us having at least one kid in the next 2 years. That means that I can't get my sports car because I'm not gonna be the person that like drops down that front seat and like tries to get a baby out of a carrier in the back seat of a Camaro or a Mustang. Like doesn't make logistical sense. On top of that, I'm not going to be the pregnant person like trying to climb out of those Camaros and sports cars. Like, they're low cars, and now I can get in and get out pretty easy. But if you're like 9 months pregnant, getting in and out of a Camaro or a Mustang is not easy. Getting out of there carrying like a big bag and all of your work stuff isn't easy either. But it's more doable. And so the point became that it wasn't going to make sense for me to have it in the reasonable future, because my car that I have now would make more sense because it's more of a family car. It's more of a mom car. And so the back seats have their own door. I can put in a car seat and plug it in and everything, and I can get the baby in and out pretty easily. And like I said, we can have about 2-3 kids in that car. And that could be a family car. But that also means that I wasn't going to get my sports car after I paid off my car. And it's a little sad because it's like my dream car, but it just changes my timeline. My mom finally got her dream car, which was the Mustang, after we were all in college. No, we don't all fit in it. About 4 of us can squeeze in there, so like all 3 of my sisters and my mom can go shopping together, but Dad has to stay home, which he usually wants to because he doesn't want to see how much money we're spending, but that's not the point. She eventually got the car she wanted, but it wasn't going to be a logistical car for having a bunch of little ones because it's not as safe, and it doesn't have as much room to be doing things like groceries, taking kids to like sports practices, carrying gear, carrying luggage, like things like that were just going to happen in our lives. So I've come to that understanding that was going to happen. However, my husband didn't quite realize that my sports car thing was a goal that I wanted to obtain and not just, oh, that would be nice. Or I kind of like them. Until we're sitting in this Camaro. I shouldn't have, I did. I took it grocery shopping because I'm enjoying the heck out of driving this thing. Like, I can't stop smiling every time I talk about driving it because I'm having fun. No, I am not racing it around or breaking the law. I'm being safe. Like, I know how to drive a car. I'm just enjoying being in this car, which is really close to the one I had originally thought about getting. So I'm just like, oh, this is like the dream. This is where I want to get to one day. And he's just watching me this whole time, just like giddy, like a kid on Christmas, just like absolutely cloud 9, like I'm living my dream right now. Got him on the passenger seat because he's not driving it, I'm driving it, and we're going grocery shopping in it. But I'm just having a fantastic time. And we get home and he's like my dream, like this is what I want to get to be able to own a car like this. And he's a little, I guess, bothered or upset that he can't get it for me right now. And so I had to explain to him, I was like, look, if we wanted to wait like 5 years from now to have kids, then we could get the car, because then I could have the car and we would drive it for 5 years and I would have an amazing time the whole time. And then once we paid it off, we would take it in, we would trade it in, and we would get the people hauler, is what he calls the bigger cars, the people hauler that we needed to have our family, and then we would start. But we both know that neither of us really wants to wait. Like, I feel fairly ready to start our family whenever, like, in the next 2 years reasonably, and we're in agreement. We've talked about it, and we think, yeah, no, that sounds like a good timeline for us, and that is something that we've both wanted. But he still is trying to figure out how to make this work. And I told him, look, if we push it back, we can do it, but we don't want to. We want to do all of this stuff now. We want to, have this car to have our family in and do all of that stuff right now. Like, that's the phase that we're in. And yeah, that means I'm not going to get my car right now. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with waiting for it because I've seen my mom wait for it. And she was just as excited when they pulled up in that red Mustang, making me forget my order when I was a waitress, then as she would have been younger. If anything, she might have appreciated it more because she'd waited for it for so long. And that, to me, still seems doable. Like, I still can look at that and go, yeah, no, I can wait. It's not more important to me than our family. And that's the point of today's topic. The consequence of my life decision to want to get married and have my family is costing me my car. I won't be able to get it right now. Now, it doesn't say I won't ever be able to get it. I still hold hope that maybe in the future I'll be able to get it. But right now, it's not going to happen. And that's okay. There are other consequences. I won't be able to get a nicer apartment than what I had. And that was something that I was, looking forward to when I moved to San Antonio. I didn't really like my apartment too much. I like the way I set it up, and I like the way I kept it. But I wanted to get a nice apartment. Maybe downtown San Antonio one day. These were the things that I wanted to do. But now that I'm married, we have a house. That's not going to happen. There's no reason for us to get an apartment from a house. So that's something that just is a consequence. I don't get to do that now. But we have to decide if they're worth it. When we're weighing these life decisions, we have to figure out, and we can't be bitter about it. I'm not going to make my husband feel bad that I can't get my car right now because we would prefer to have our family sooner. Because that's not just his decision, it's mine too. And even though it gets really hard as, your dreams have to be put on hold or they're just not going to happen, you have to decide what is and what isn't worth it. And I didn't just start thinking about this yesterday. I didn't just start thinking about it last month. I've thought about it for a while. When I originally got my crossover back in 2017, I made the decision to get that instead of the car that I genuinely wanted because it made more responsible financial sense to invest in a car that I could move around in and use. I didn't quite foresee that would be the car that I would stay in for this long, but I made that decision because for me, it was worth it to have that, to be able to move around in, to not have to worry about driving up a rental U-Haul with all of my stuff in it, also with my car, and figuring out how to maneuver that. And little did I know, I moved into my apartment, and then I moved into my husband's house, and then we plan to move at least one more time. We'll see what life has in store for us. But that one's going to come in handy now. I didn't quite foresee that far ahead, but I knew that that's what I was going to need. And I did. And right now, we need the cars that we have because we can have kids with them. We can strap them in to car seats in both of our cars right now, and we would be okay. And that means that I can't have the sports car that I want today. But that's worth it for me. Because I thought about it and I decided I would rather have our family and put my car dream on wait because I don't hold the same value to it as I do my family. And we come to these every day. When we decide to move, when we decide what college we want to go to, when we decide who we want to spend the rest of our life with, whenever we decide to have kids, whenever we decide to buy a house or rent or buy a car. All of these bigger life decisions have consequences. And some are good, some are bad, some are just that means that some dreams will have to wait. And it's not a bad thing. It's just something that you have to figure out. If I had to go and talk to my younger self, like at 10, 12, 13, and tell him, look, you're going to have a chance to get that sports car that you really want, but you're not going to get it, I probably would have been pissed as all hell. I'd have been like, excuse me, I can get whatever I want. Because I didn't quite understand that sometimes you have to sacrifice things, or at least put dreams on hold, because other things matter more. Thanks for listening.